Good morning, welcome back to Marty's Tying Bench. Today I'm tying a parachute ant. This one happens to be a cinnamon ant. I carry blacks, oranges, cinnamon. Now I'm going to tie this on a 16 or an 18. I think this one's a small 16. The color I've got is 70 Deer Ultra in Wood Duck. It seems to match the color of my dubbing is why it shows it. And it will show up as the center section of your fly. I'm going to start the thread and try and be as neat as possible, coating it with thread. And when I get to the back, I'll start dubbing. And any color dubbing that you want your ant to be. This one is a rabbit dubbing, and it's a cinnamon color. And there's tying a little ball like this. The small ones on the 18s and 20s and stuff are much easier than on 16s and 14s. But the trick, if there is one, is to get your dubbing tight, keep your noodle skinny. And I've laid down a layer of dubbing about from the hook point back to the hook barb, and I'll just go back and forth and gradually put more of the turns towards the middle until I've got a ball. Now if I make a couple of wraps right up against the ball, that will help keep it neat. And then I'm going to move my thread forward to where my post is going to be. I've got some Whittle's web ready, any kind of poly yarn, even a high vis if you like. And I'm going to tie that in a good eye and a half back, because this post is going to come up out of the middle of the front ball of dubbing. Get that post started, and I'm going to get a light brown or a dark ginger hackle, something that reaches back no farther than the middle of the body there. Tie that in on the hook for security. Lift it up. Now you're going to have a ball of dubbing in the front, so you need to make this post just a little bit higher than you might think to keep their parachute above the ant. Now if you saw, I went up higher that second row with that the second time, so the bottom part of that post has 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of thread. The top only has 2 layers of thread, so there's kind of a taper which will help keep your parachute hackle neat. Now we're going to have to dub around that post. Now you see that thread on the hook in between the balls. That's the separation between the front and the back is what makes this really look like an ant. So don't let this ball creep back too far towards the rear ball. Again, just use skinny dubbing noodle. Wrap them fairly tight. I'm letting that thread hang right behind the post. Get all of the posts separated from the hackle. And try and get that first turn on the thread post, and that will keep them five or 6 turns. Those turns are underneath the hackle but above this feather. Now I'm going to lift this feather up and get a couple of turns under it to lift any stray fibers. I'm going to make 2 of them. Now jump the thread up to the eye and whip finish. Get that post centered. We're going to trim it about the same length as the hackle fibers on the parachute. There you go, little cinnamon ant under a parachute.